What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going down? What's shaking? Welcome to another episode of Super Black Comic Book Reviews by Jonathan Soul. Now, I got a terrific set of books that I want to talk about. I reviewed the early version of this book like a couple of years ago, right? The early version. The early version of this book. I'm talking about Black Sun, The Longest Night by Kelvin Nyeusi Mawazo. Now I'm gonna have him on the show shortly, and so I gotta get the pronunciation of his name correctly. But my man is terrific. He talked to me a while ago about this plan that he had for this comic book property and so forth like that. And I've been watching him on social media, kind of executing and watching not only him, graduate from, the one book to now. Actually, there's number 4 out. This is number 3. Number 4 is out, as I understand. Graduating, but I think he's working with other artists or maybe other writers now. He has like posters out and some other things. So it's beautiful to see the growth. So for the new cats that are just joining this movement, and I'm talking about the African comic books movement. I was going to say speculative. That shit is too egghead. Black comics, y'all. Black comics worldwide. Now this brother, when I talked to him, I think he was in Canada. And so if I say, African or black, I'm talking about people from African descent making comic books. That's what I'm talking about. They might be in America. They might be in Canada. They might be on the continent, that kind of thing. So before I get into the review, I gotta rant a little bit because I'm older. You know what I mean? So, and there's something that kind of sparked it when I reread this just before the show. When I go back to it, he basically talked about in the author's note, and it's kind of good. The reason why I do interviews is because I want to get inside the mind that created this universe. That's why. I want to get to know the people a little bit, and I want to help them, promote their stuff. I mean, that's just what I want to do. I'm a broadcaster, and so I want to broadcast something that's meaningful. To me, putting these comics in the hands of children and adults is meaningful. It's meaningful for me. Everybody got their bit. Some people want to protect the environment. Some people want to save the whales. Me, I want to save our imaginations. I want to save our leisure time. I don't want us to, when we think about heroes, just to think about Batman, Spider-Man. There's nothing wrong with those guys, but if you're black, if you're African, if your people is from the continent, you should have characters that are African. Period. You can have other people too. I can reach over into my book and, I got some other stuff that I'm working on. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. I got some other stuff, but I'm supporting and I promote black comics. All right, boom. That's my thing. You can talk about diversity and all this kind of stuff. It don't mean shit if you don't own it. It don't mean shit. How many black shows that was doing good, great in the ratings, and then they canceled it? You can name them. You're going to need about 2-3 hands. Because black content, even though it's profitable in this American, and I'm just talking about America. I ain't talking about the UK. They got their own problems. The Canada, I don't know about them. But in America, even though black content and black images is profitable, it's disposable. This is not disposable for me. All right, let's keep going. All right, so the invasion. Dun, 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 dun. So I'm gonna read a little bit of it. I did a thing about me having dyslexia, and that's true. I haven't been tested for it, but when you try to read out loud, I'm fooling with the microphone. When you try to read out loud and the words get lost in the corridors of your brain, that's pretty much dyslexia. I'm not gonna claim retardation. I'm not gonna claim it, but it's definitely dyslexia. And so me really reading helped kind of train the connectors in the brain so that the hall monitors in my mind work properly. So if you got a kid who's having difficulty reading, and you won't know it unless you sit down and read with him. You might just see, oh, he's getting bad grades in English class. Sit down and read with the kid. get them a couple of these books. Go to blacksuncomics.com, order these books, and sit down and read with your boy, read with your girl, read with them. Figure out where they at. Maybe they can sound out the words, but maybe they don't understand the concepts. Maybe their comprehension is low. This is an opportunity for you to sit down with your kid and read with them and improve that, because they're going to need it growing up. You know, anybody who's making any kind of dollar in this economy, it's because of technical skills, highly developed skills. And a lot of times you need to be able to read a lot in order to acquire those skills, or at least develop those skills. Okay, so give them a good foothold in their career. Don't let just them read just for school, because that's the way I was when I was little. I only read for school. I didn't read in my leisure. Well, that's not totally true. I used to read some car magazines because I was into sports cars back then when I was a kid. But that was article. I didn't read the magazine cover to cover. I read an article here and there. You know what I mean? I read comic books, obviously. I read comics and stuff like that. But it wasn't like I wasn't spending an hour a day or a lot of time reading. And I feel like if I did, you know, things may, you know what I mean? It would be great. So we got the opportunity to set the next generation. Okay, I'm preaching. I'm always preaching. All right, let me get into it. Black Sun. That's why y'all came to hear it. All right, Black Sun. Okay, so he starts out kind of like on a Space Odyssey 2001 vibration, drinking some tea. Baby floating in space or whatever, the cosmic wound. And I think that's really beautiful. And can I show you something? This is the other thing that I love about this, is the growth. Now, look, this is like the second version of number one. In the first number one, right? Now, even the cover, I do like the cover, but can't y'all see the improvement? Can't y'all see the improvement? Now, in the first one, he still has the same vibration, but the baby's floating. You know what I mean? A little bit different. You see what I'm saying? I see that his art style is getting better, and his page composition is getting better. I like this format. I prefer generally larger books, you know, but this format is fine. I like it better than the first one. All right. So anyway, so he goes through. Now, this is the Citadel. This is Inkari Citadel, okay? Now, in the basement, Inkari, I forgot to tell you. So basically, it's a beautiful day in the Empire, okay? This is a faraway planet. I think the planet is called, what's that old word for Ethiopia? It begins with an A. Oh, shit, come on, brain. It's escaping me. But anyway, that old word for Ethiopia. But anyways, that's the name of the planet. The sun is beautiful. Everything is shining. The birds are chirping. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I don't know if you can hear the birds and everything like that. And then, and this is a beautiful day in the Samah Empire. Okay. This is the Citadel, right? And so what happens? Kaboom! We get this arrival of this interdimensional scariness, and the birds are flying away, and oh my God, right? And then, oh, look, it's getting even heavier. Now, when I first saw this, I immediately thought about that cat, that artist. What's that guy who did Aliens? You remember he got those freaky drawings and stuff? Or maybe Heavy Metal Magazine. What's this? Some crazy stuff you might see on Heavy Metal Magazine, kind of a thing. So I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So he keeps going. And we see the bad guys are kind of coming into the realm and starting to wreak havoc. They're shooting laser beams and everything. At this point, you know, the first thing I thought about, other than what I just said, the first thing I thought about was like Galvatron. Do y'all remember the you know what I mean, Galvatron? Everybody over 30 know what I'm talking about. Galvatron was the planet-eating robot from the Transformers movie, the first one. And so was Orson Welles voicing that? Was that Orson Welles? And so I immediately thought about Galvatron. So we see these fires breaking up and everything. And now here's our hero. This brother is named Lumumba Euro, I believe. If memory serves. You're Lumumba, like Patrice Lumumba, that great African leader. You know, you got educated in the U.S., didn't he? Didn't Patrice go to school in the U.S.? A lot of African leaders who fought for liberation for their people went to HBCUs in the 60s. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. So anyway, so he's about to deal with the monster. Oh, you want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? You know what I mean? It's like he's dealing with a whole room full of people. Now, usually this is where I stop. And I say, okay, I don't want you to show you more because I want you to buy the book. And that's what I'm going to do. I ain't going to change my format. I want you to buy the book. Now, this other book, I'm just going to show you some images in it or whatever. I just want to show you some images, kind of a thing. There's a beautiful AI in this book, like she's kind of like a floating head. And when I saw that, it reminded me of Firestorm from DC Comics. If y'all know Firestorm, it was an athlete and a physics professor. A nuclear explosion made them one, and so the physical body was that of the athlete, Ron, whatever his name was, Ronnie Raymond, I think. And Professor Martin, I think it was Martin, or Stein or something, I don't know. He was represented by like a disembodied floating head, you know, that only Firestorm can see. So that's what I thought about when I saw that. That's what I thought about. I mean, the illustration is just beautiful. The illustration is just beautiful. And I want to show y'all everything. But you got to get this book in your collection. You definitely got to get it for the kids. And by all means, go to blacksuncomics.com, blacksuncomics.com, and cop a couple for yourself. There's issue 4 out, so I got to get issue 4 to make sure I'm up to date. And support the brother. You know, I said something on Twitter, and I think it's still true, that ownership trumps diversity any day. And what I mean, no, I didn't say that. That's not true, but that's kind of catchy. What I said was, I said ownership makes the diversity argument moot. Meaning that if you want to see black characters, then you either going to create them like Kelvin did, or you're going to buy them like I'm doing. And so I don't got no complaints about, oh, there's no black person on the Teen Titans, or maybe they are, but I don't. I mean, besides the Cyborg, or there's no black. It don't matter to me. It don't matter, cause I'm buying books by black people. So there's an argument. DC and Marvel, they write excellent white characters. Let them keep writing them. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel. I don't want you to make somebody that used to be white black. I don't want that. I still got a problem with Idris Elba being in Asgard. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. They know. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's a tremendous actor and he made it work, I just thought that was odd. But see, if we support these guys, we put enough bread into their pocket, sooner or later, one of these guys is going to say, you know what? I'm about to start a Kickstarter, and I'm going to make a movie. And we're going to see an indie version of Black Panther that's going to turn the internet upside down. But it starts here. It starts getting on your computer and going to blacksuncomics.com and buying these books. Because every person I talk to, I've interviewed a lot of creators. If you go to Jonathan Soul, right, jonathansoul.com, you'll see a lot of the interviews. Not all of them, because some of them, I think I lost. I think I lost some of the interviews. Computer crashes and changing, hosting providers and shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some of these interviews are lost. But I interviewed in every one of them, except for maybe 2 or 3, and that's maybe because I didn't ask them the question. Every one that I asked, hey, do you want to make a movie one day? They say, listen, my comic is just a storyboard for the movie that's in my head. Down to a person. Every one of them is saying that. So I'm telling you, I want to see Black Sun in the movie theater. I do. I know that's some pressure on Kelvin, but I want to see it in the movie theater. Well, how does that work? It starts with us buying out his stock and help giving him the confidence of saying, you know what? If people are buying out my product at this level, then what other content, what other medium could I put this property in? And the next step is animation, of course, and film, maybe gaming, that kind of thing. But it starts with us, family, because they want to do it. All right. BlackSunComics.com. Go there, support my mans and them, his family. JohnTheSoul.com for more of this content. Love you guys. Peace.